Look, I'm pissed off already out the gate because you know this. On the walk to the podcast set, I had a bird on my head.
Oh, no.
I had to go home in between.
Literally a minute ago.
We had a podcast meeting, and then I went to go get lunch, and a bird pooed on my head, and that was the start of my podcast.
It was like a Anakin scar ran over
I went
your
to visit
eye.
Eleanor at the coffee shop where she's working, and I was chatting to her, and then it just went right on my dome.
It was like, a tiny bit on Eleanor's...
And that isn't even my worst moment of the week. That's just something that happened within the last hour.
A minute ago.
Yeah. The worst moment of the day.
Oh,
Sake,
Christ,
man.
that was bad, man.
Shut up, man. I'm talking.
Shut up. Shut up. I'm talking. Shut up.
Oh, come on.
Clean this intro.
Cleaners, I was so sick.
How are you?
Me? I'm well. How about yourself?
I'm not great after the bird on my head, but prior to that,
Yeah.
pretty all right, actually.
You said the phrase to me as well. We were walking down, and I was like, are you not freaking out about this? And you went, Tom, I am freaking out, but if I externalize it, then everyone's going to know. Or something like that.
I think I said I'm freaking out, I'm just not letting it show.
Yeah.
I said there's no point crying over poo. It's already happened, man. I wasn't getting pissed off about it. It isn't going to make my head less on.
How have you been, Jack? It's been a few weeks since we've rolled.
Yeah, but we've actually spent pretty much all of it together.
We spent a lot of time together.
We've been together pretty much the entire time.
It was one of those show questions we do in show business.
Yeah, because in reality, we know full well.
I know. You're bad. I'm fine.
We've had a... No, I'm not bad. I mean, I was a little bit pissed off when I went, Tom, go get me a napkin, and you seemed to fanny about for ages.
Well, I went in, I said to the lady, he's been pooed on, and she went, oh, okay. And then I went, where's the napkins? She went, over there. So I went and I got them, but I couldn't decide how many. Yeah, I guess I was fannying about.
So I kind of stood there with poo on my head, and then slowly more people kept coming outside, and I'm just like, am I just the guy with poo on his head right now, who's currently looking to be doing nothing about it?
Yeah, it was weak. It was a worse moment.
It was a bad moment, but it wasn't the worst moment of the week because we've had a very eventful stretch because it has been, in the time we've been away, we went to New York for a YouTube Summit.
Yeah.
We went to San Diego for TwitchCon.
Yep.
And then I went to LA, but you didn't come.
Before New York, I went to New Jersey. Gosh, it's been a travelsome few weeks. We have put on our air miles.
Yeah. I'm back in British Airways Club Bronze.
Oh, phew.
Yeah.
I haven't claimed my points yet. Anyway, now the relatable segment of the podcast is over.
Should we talk about our worst moment of the week before we get into the travel?
Yes, because we have this segment we like to open our podcast with.
Stop that! You do this just to annoy me.
No.
You do this purely to annoy me. I'm so
what,
convinced.
What if they don't know?
You don't have to tell them it's a segment. They'll just gather what we're doing by us doing it.
So this is the first segment.
Who do you think watches this?
I don't know.
What's your worst moment of the week, man? Go on.
Oh my gosh. Well, Jack, I need you to take us back to the beginning of the travels, all right? I'm on my own in the airport, about to fly to New Jersey, right?
Okay.
I'm boarding the plane. It's been a long morning already, all right? Had to get up at 8. Ugh.
You had to get up at 8?
Yeah, for my flight at 2. No, actually, I had to get up at 7:30. I had to leave at 8:30.
Where are you going?
Heathrow, New Jersey.
Yeah, but... Right, 2 is at 1,400 hours.
Yeah.
They say to get to the airport 3 hours...
Thanks for explaining time.
Well, no, yeah, but they say to get to the airport 3 hours before your flight, meaning you had to arrive by 11. In what world did you be leaving at 8?
I always get there 5 hours before.
Why? What do you do? Just sit in the airport?
Yep.
Airports are boring. They're dull.
I know. I always have to spend 5 hours there. My mum always told me when I was little, she said, do not f*** around in airport security and get there 5 hours early. I was about to board the plane to New Jersey. I was quite tired, as I said, early morning. I had in my headphones and I was listening to some sentimental Bruce Springsteen music, right? Prepping to go see him in New Jersey.
Oh, right, okay.
And as I'm going down the escalator, and this is the big escalator right before that little tunnel you go down onto the plane.
Oh, yeah, the famous big escalator at...
You do know the big escalator.
Heathrow.
There's always a big escalator before the plane. And I see this guy's like dropped a little card out of his wallet. And I'm at the bottom and I go, oh, well, I'm going to lean over and grab that. I lean over, grab that card, and I look at it and go, oh, yeah. And I go to move, and my shoelace has got stuck in the escalator. And I go, oh, no.
Yeah, that's bad.
And then I'm there for a few seconds, and the one behind me is prodding me, going, you need to shift. And I'm going, well, I can't. I'm stuck in the escalator. And then I start going, because I've always dreamed of this, but not a dream, Jack, a nightmare. And
I've nightmared of
And I'm
this.
like, oh shit, is he going to saw off my foot? Or
Yeah,
something?
that's how you lose limbs.
I started getting really stressed, but you have to remember at the same time, I've got really slow, sentimental Bruce Springsteen music playing in my ears. Like, he's like, I'm hitchhiking all day long. Where I'm fucking like trying to, and then, and then visually what begins to happen, as I said, it's the big escalator, is this large pile up of people at the bottom of the escalator. There's like 4 people like huddled and like sort of walking back up the escalator, and I'm getting really, really stressed. Again, in my ears I'm hearing, I'm hitchhiking all day. I'm going, holy shit. Now luckily I yank my foot after a few goes and it comes right out, right?
Okay, that's good.
And there's the pile up, and I was so stressed, and I go, oh my gosh. And I go to the man, I go, here's your card, mate. And he goes, that's not mine. I go, you are? And he goes, oh, it was just a card that was on the floor. And I just thought it
What's
fell
like a
off him.
bank card or like?
Just like a gift card.
Oh, it wasn't even like a card that like you need to be worried about. It was like someone's ID or like their bank card.
Kindness, man. And I was just so stressed, and so to calm down, I ironically put back in my Bruce Serene music, and then I'm stood in the thing, and there's like 2 women in wheelchairs behind me, and I can't hear them because I'm listening to this Bruce music.
Oh my god. I didn't know where you were going with that. I thought that was just it. That was the complaint. I was like, oh my god.
No. And then the woman who's seen me get my foot trapped in the escalator and now block all of the disabled people, because everyone was stood on the right and I was stood firmly on the left.
Oh yeah, you were.
Yeah.
Oh, when you're waiting to get on the plane.
Yes,
oh, that is like a real no go.
I know. And then I take out my AirPods. Oh, I'm so sorry. I understand. And this stupid American woman goes, "This just ain't your day, is it, kiddo?" And I said, I could.
It wasn't though.
No, it wasn't. But she did not need to say that to me in the moment. Oh, do you know what I was doing as well? Why I was on that other side is because I was writing down in my notes worst moment of the week, getting trapped in it, and then it was just horrid.
Then you have to tack on the thing you just did.
Yeah, I actually did. It was like live updates. That was my moment, man. That was bad.
That's rough. You know what I've realised though, a lot of your moments are you causing nuisance like for other people. Like when you were in the theatre for the MattPat show and you just start making noise like this. A lot of your worst moments of the week is I was a real dickhead this week and caused a lot of problems.
I was trying to be a nice guy.
You were. I think this one was well intentioned at least.
Yeah.
Last time he was trying to rejig your bollocks.
That was well intentioned. I had to rejig, didn't I? All right. Anyway, what's your worst moment?
Mine happened today, and it wasn't the bird poo.
Fucking hell, you've had a bad day.
I maybe have had a bad day. I woke up this morning. Actually, no, ish. I went to sleep last night, as we all do, in bed. I live with Eleanor now in our new house. I go to bed. Eleanor's there. I have a dream. Right, the dream is about TwitchCon. I don't remember exactly what happened. It's like some meeting. It's just kind of there's some funny moments. I think. So funny, in fact, that I voice note you in because obviously your dreams are happening, you think they're real. So in the dream about TwitchCon, I voice note you to be like, "This has been crazy," blah, 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 and I tell you all this crazy shit.
Oh, thanks, man.
Then I wake up, right?
Yeah.
And I'm in bed with Eleanor. I'm like, "Oh shit, it was a dream." But then I check my phone. I realized somehow the voice note I sent you is real. I actually sent you a voice note. I'm like, "Oh my god, I need to check this." So I start listening back to it to make sure I'm not like said some insane shit in my sleep. And then as I'm listening to it, my mum bursts in the room. At this point, I probably should have clocked that I'm actually not in my house where I went to sleep. I'm in my parents' house, and this was still a dream.
Oh,
but I'm not.
God.
At this point, I'm convinced this is all real. My mum bursts in the room, looking really angry and like almost ill. Like she just doesn't look well. And she goes, "Which one of you broke the sink?" To me and Eleanor, who's now been firmly woken up by my angry mum. I'm now pissed off and thinking, "Mum, this was very rude of you to do." To my girl, we've not touched your sink. But like they've all, my mum, my brother, and my dad.
Famously irate about sinks.
Well, no, I think they've all been out somewhere. They've gotten in early morning. Me and Eleanor are already in bed. They're irate about this broken sink. I'm thinking, well, no one's. What's wrong with the sink? Because she won't say. So I get up and go in a huff. I'm like, "What's wrong?" I go downstairs. And my dad says the sink is thirsty. Go what? And then he's got the under the sink doors open, and he's got a bucket under the sink, and he's filling it with water, but the sink's drinking it real fast. I don't know how the sink is drinking water underneath. None of it. Again, there should have been a point here where I realized this wasn't a dream, but I was a dream. I was so convinced it was real life. Right? Because I'd already had a dream in the dream.
sink is thirsty.
The sink is thirsty and he's just filling it up with water, but it keeps sucking and keeps sucking. And no matter what we do, we can't quench the sink. And it starts getting like the room's almost shaking because it's sucking so damn hard. I'm getting panicked. I'm getting quite scared. And then eventually, like we look and we manage to fill it, the bucket fills and it's all is right in the world. The sink's been quenched. And then over like some tannoy in the house, like some like announcement system, it just goes, the sink has been repaired. Now enjoy the 31st annual purge. I go, what? I'm like, excuse me? I said to my mum, what? And I'm like terrified. I'm like, she's like, yeah, the purge. I'm like, yeah, the film, the purge. And she's like, yeah, it's real. They made it real. I'm like, what? And I'm like terrified because the purge is now happening and we're not, I don't feel like we're secure in this house. But secondly, I'm also...
Especially not with this thirsty sink.
Yeah, I'm also especially pissed off because I cannot in my head fathom who in government would possibly vote in the purge. I'm like, how do we get to a point where
It's that Green Party.
Maybe it's the woke. I don't know. But
4-day work week, 3-day purge. No.
But either, I was so pissed off at the idea that like I'm like, how's it gotten that bad in this damn world that they were voting in the purge? I was like more annoyed. And then I woke up into real life. But by this point, I've had so many layered dreams. I'm now just anxious as to whether I'm like, I know the purge isn't real, but I've woken up. I'm like, what if I'm still dreaming and now like I'm gonna get purged? And I just couldn't. I wasn't scared of actually dying.
What time was this?
5 a.m.
Oh my God.
And then the cats were like sat in the doorway and I couldn't figure out if they were creepy figures or just cats. I was all delirious.
They do have
and
creepy
scared.
eyes, your cats, though. Bright yellow eyes.
They're beautiful in the correct lighting, but terrifying in the middle of the night. And I was just really, really scared. And I didn't know whether to wake Eleanor up and be like, is the purge happening or not? But I thought...
I always wake Molly up after a nightmare.
I think, no, she's sleeping and I didn't want to, she's got a big day ahead of her. So I thought, no, I'll let her sleep. And
yeah, but they're going to go back to sleep.
I'll just get over it. So I did. I got over it and went back to sleep eventually. I got over it.
I think your moment might be worse. But it's a really tough...
Yours
it's a
is
physical
real
versus psychological battle, isn't
I
it?
just had like a psychological battle this morning of what was real.
You just dreamt.
Yeah.
That was your worst moment.
I don't dream often. This is I really
That's
don't.
true.
I dream very infrequently.
And I remember our dream video, your dream was like, oh, I forgot to put in my stream key. Or they're very real.
I have very
dreams.
vivid like dreams. In the moment, I'm so convinced they're real. And again, that had a lot of pointers that it wasn't real. When the sink was thirsty, I probably should have clocked. But it just, everything at the time, I just was like, yeah, that's probably the plumbing term for it. Thirsty sink.
Oh, Christ.
You know, when your sink's draining too fast, you got a thirsty sink. That's what they call it in the business. That's what I decided.
I can't decide whose is worst.
Well, that's what the comments are for, man.
Oh.
So comment down below, type your little comments, unless you're on a listening platform, in which case I guess just say it out loud.
I was listening to, this is what I was doing before I put on Serene Bruce Springsteen. I was listening to our podcast for the first time on Spotify, thinking, this is good to be on Spotify. And then I found out they have comments, and we don't have any.
We don't have a single comment.
Don't have any, but we have a few 5 stars. At this
we
point,
have a lot of 5-star ratings, about 1,000 or so.
But at this point, we had about, I remember it was like 85. They'd only just released.
It was early days.
It was very early days.
We had literally just dropped as we were going to America.
I know. I was the 86th 5-star. So.
Oh yeah, I also.
And whatever you do, don't give us 1 star. Give us 5.
I think so far we've only got 5-star ratings. It's rated as full 5 stars.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. One of them's from me, but you have to watch the episodes before you can rate it. So I faked watching the episode. I just skimmed through it and rated it.
Okay. We don't want any skim viewers.
Don't do that. I get to do it because I was here in the moment, but you can't. I'm here right now. I mean, I'm here.
Should we get on with our episode?
Yeah, should we tell the TwitchCon stories?
So, look, we've had a long... This is essentially the travel episode. And when I used to listen to podcasts when I was a boy, I don't listen to them now, I make them. But my favourite episodes were the travel episodes. So maybe I'll listen to this one.
Maybe.
But I suppose in a sense I'll listen to it as I say it.
When I'm old, I might watch this back to relive memories.
That's true.
Of my travels to TwitchCon.
Yeah.
Because when I'm old, I'll be reminiscing on that sort of thing.
So this is going to be a very emotional one for us. But let's... Oh goodness! I mean, quite the trip. We had to make some notes down. Can you hear this?
Got a lot of notes.
Can you hear this audio?
Look how many pages we got.
Oh my goodness gracious!
So many notes of all the things we did.
First things we did, I went down to New Jersey.
Oh yeah, you did.
I saw Bruce Springsteen. I won't get into that, but I was dancing with 35,000 strangers. It was brilliant. Then I had to go to Brooklyn and then Manhattan for the YouTube Summit. which was a small little bit of sponsored work that I did out there, where I did a bit of talking. It was basically they announced the YouTube features. It was a whole day that was.
You had to do a lot of talking about AI.
Wasn't the most fun I've had.
Tom was not particularly happy about all the AI in the new YouTube features.
Well, my girlfriend's an artist, so if I like AI, I'm on the sofa.
I feel like everyone in this space is like, this is why AI is wrong, and you're just like, my girlfriend says AI is wrong, and I just can't be bothered to argue with her.
I think it's fun, but Molly, oh no, and God forbid I end up on the sofa, Jack. So I'm not.
You have a nice sofa. I think you'll live. It's comfy.
Yeah, but I'd like the warmth of a loved one.
More than AI.
Yeah, more than I'd like to defend ChatGPT and its ability to write tweets for me. So
fair enough. Fair enough.
So I've had to.
But anyway,
so yeah,
you had to go a day early to do the YouTube
but
thing.
this YouTube thing was paired on to the YouTube Summit, which I was invited to, and Jack.
I was invited to.
Well, here's what happened. Jack's girlfriend Eleanor was invited, and then
True.
Jack went as a +1, and then Eleanor dropped
that's
out.
not true.
So you weren't invited.
No, I didn't go as a +1. This is exactly what happened. Eleanor got invited, and you were going, and I thought, why don't I just go have a week in New York? But I wasn't going to go to the summit because they don't allow +1s. So then I messaged YouTube Chris, shout out YouTube Chris, and I said, hey Chris, am I all good to like stay in the hotel? Like, is there security or anything? Like, will I be good? And he went, I'll check for you. And then he came back with an email that said, you're invited to the YouTube Summit.
Oh, okay.
So I sort of like gave them a nudge and went, invite me.
You did.
And they did.
You poked him, but
But then Eleanor couldn't make it, so then I went by myself.
and you were in New York just alone for a few days.
Yeah, I went because Eleanor wanted to go early so we could have a few days, but then she couldn't make it in the end, so I just was there.
The first thing that happened before I hung out with you, I went to the cinema by myself in Brooklyn, and I was chatting to these two girls, and one of them didn't like this joke that I made.
All right, I mean that seems fine.
I just kept.
You're not
being
for
like,
everyone, man.
No, but they were my crowd. They were liking all my other jokes, and then I went, "The vaccine's bad, innit?" And they didn't laugh, but you did.
Yeah, but
It wasn't my best.
I know you well enough to know you had the vaccine. I think if a stranger comes up to you and goes, "That vaccine sure was killing people," and you go,
I just thought it was so funny.
"Fair enough." So yeah, you told a bad joke.
So then on this day, we meet up for dinner.
It was nice food. Actually, genuinely decent food. But we went there, and I always forget when you get to America, because this was my first dining experience, because I've only been there a couple of days. The hospitality is like so much more full on. People are like, when you come in, they're like, "Hi, I'm your waiter. This is my name. This is my blood type. I want to serve you the best I can today. Do you want any beverages or perhaps a massage?"
Because they want that stupid tip.
They just want a tip. Like in the UK, we don't have a tipping culture, so the waiters do the bare minimum and sort of scowl at you, and that's sort of it. But we were at the restaurant, and this lady comes over, and she's very friendly, and she's really making the most of it. And we're thinking, God, you really. Tom has a thing where, like, ever since he started doing stand-up comedy, he really loves engaging with strangers really full on. Like, you really, like, most people just make small talk with strangers, but you really try and, like, engage them. And you really engaged this lady who really met your energy. But as she was having these very intense conversations with Tom, would only look at me.
I'll explain for just everyone. Imagine someone stared at you while talking to someone else.
That is what happened. Yeah, it was exactly exactly what that is what happened to us. But yeah, she just kept looking at me but talking to Tom, and like wouldn't break eye contact with me. It was really wigging me out. But then it came time to order dessert, and this is where the kicker came.
Oh, because she didn't have. Oh, tell this.
We went to order dessert, and Tom went, "Yeah, can I have this, please?" And she went, "Fuck." Really quite loud.
Jack sort of jumped and went, "You are?"
And she was like, I don't think we have any more of those. We might have one, but I don't think we have any more.
What was that? You didn't just shout "fuck" at me.
She shouted "fuck," and she went, "Do you have a second choice?" To which she picked a second choice. She went, "We don't have any of that either." So Tom picked a first, second, and third choice, and she went, "I'll go check for all of them." And then like,
I forgot she shouted "fuck" at me.
And then she went away. And then she like came back out to deliver someone else's food, and she was like, "Your food will be here in a minute," with a big grin. And we were like, "Oh, maybe she's got the right one."
Yeah, we were.
And then she did have the right one, but because she thought we were so cool, she also bought us a free ice cream.
Yeah.
I think she might have bought you a free ice cream.
Yeah, because we had a debate about did you play any part in the free ice cream?
I think I was equally charming, but I was just more
I think
on the
we
quiet
sort
side.
of just similar to our worst moments of the week, which was the first segment of the podcast. This was sort of like where you delivered the physical, but I delivered the psychological.
What was the physical? What did I do?
You had the looks.
I'm the looks.
Yeah, he's the looks. It's like that big vein.
Felt wholly unnecessary. Man, but no, I don't want to move past that. It was rude.
Sorry.
I love my vein. No, actually, I
Audio
don't, but
listeners,
Eleanor does.
just-
Eleanor always assures me it's great.
Jack just has a huge vein in the
I do
center
have a
of his
big
forehead.
vein. It's so big that it got named when I was in school. They called it Vincent the Vein. I had no part in naming him.
I think you might have been getting bullied.
Well, we were old enough where like bullying sort of stopped to this, but bullying becomes more subtle. You know, when you're like sort of 16 and like bullying isn't like just like they, like people hit you or call you names at this point.
That was a bit of subtle bullying. I just
Yeah,
did there.
like what you just did.
Like-
That's what
like
they
your-
were doing.
your
You brought
big
back a lot of
vein.
trauma.
Yeah. Sorry,
So
Vincent.
anyway, I had my haircut in New York.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Say.
I had my haircut in New I wanted to get it done before I left because I've had my haircut in America once before and it's slightly more expensive. I usually pay about 12 to 14 pounds at the Turkish barbers in the UK, right? That's not bad. That's not bad. I'll take that. They do a little bit of fading. They give me the hot towel massage. I feel like I've got my £12 worth, right? I go to America, it's like $30. So I'm already feeling pretty ripped off. But I did not get chance. I just moved house, didn't get a chance to get my haircut before I went. I'm like, fuck, I'm going to have to get my haircut in New York, right? I go to a barber shop. I walk in. I go, hey, do you do walk-ins? They go, yeah. I sit down. He's like, what do you want? I'm like, oh, it's like basically a buzz cut, but just with a little bit of like blending at the sides. He's like,
It's an easy
it's
job,
easy.
isn't it?
He's like, I've got a job in a minute. I'm like, I'll take you like 2 minutes. He's like, cool. And I go, oh, it just needs a little bit of blending. He's like, we have to charge you more. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, cool. Finish the haircut. I get up. I go, all right, what's the damage? What do I owe you? He goes, $45, please. 45 for this. 45. He's cut it too short as well, like bald as fuck. Right? He goes, $45. All right.
And it's an edgy look in America in election season to be that
Yeah,
bold.
yeah, well,
it was
that
not.
too.
Yeah.
And I'm in New York where everyone's famously liberal, so I don't even, no one even gives me like a fist bump, you know? Anyway, so I'm like, fuck, 45. And then I go to pay, it's automatically added on a tip. What am I tipping you? I've just paid you for the haircut. What am I tipping you for? The haircut? I've just fucking paid you $45 for it. Why do you need more money? You've charged me a fee for the service. Why is there a hidden extra fee for the service? It pissed me off royally. So now I end up leaving this place having spent $48 something on this fucking hair, basically 50. I basically walked out of here $50 worse off with a fucking bald head. And now I've got to go meet all these YouTubers that we're about to talk about. I've got to go fucking look fucking Graham Stephan in the eyes with my stupid haircut and go, oh, guess how much this cost, Graham? And he probably wouldn't. He probably wasn't that bothered, but
Yeah.
I felt it was stupid.
So on that note, if you do want to pledge to us on Patreon,
I'm fucking poor now because I had to spend $50 on a haircut. I didn't want to. Usually, I mean, that's 5 haircuts worth of, no, about 4. 4 haircuts worth of in one haircut.
for 8 actually, because we split it.
What?
It would be 8.
Oh, no. I'm saying that one New York haircut was 4 normal haircuts of cost.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Patreons to your
No,
haircut
it's about,
ratio.
no, usually a haircut would just be 2 Patreons.
Wow. Let's start talking about things in how many Patreons worth
It's
they
actually
are to
2.5
us.
Patreons. They're like 2.5 men.
2.5. Yeah, but we let's round up to 3.
Fucking
Can't-
3 Patreons,
we don't have
please.
halves. We don't have £2.50 for half a Patreon, do we?
Well, no,
Let
we
me-
do because we have to share them. Oh shit! Wait, no. So actually, for one haircut, I need fucking 5 Patreons. If 5 of you can go to the
we
Patreon
need to
right
pump
now.
these numbers up, man.
We need
Me
to
and Jack
sort
are
this.
famously not doing well
No, we are
with this
struggling.
bright gold watch.
Hey, it was a cheap watch.
How many Patreons worth?
Oh,
How many?
no. 60.
60 Patrons for
That's
that.
my half of the Patreon.
So 6.
30 normal Patreons.
Fucking hell, Jack. Right. Anyway, so let's try and uplift this vibe because it's gotten really negative and horrible.
Oh, that's because you mocked me.
Ever since I acknowledged Vincent Levane. It's gone.
Look, we went to the YouTube Summit. Let's
So we go to the
go
YouTube
from there.
Summit, and the YouTube Summit, it's about 10% still bullshit about AI and why AI is good, but then about 90% just hanging out with all the top YouTubers. So we're in
Which
this
is lovely. We
little
don't get to see
hotel.
them often.
Well, I don't get to see most of them ever.
Yeah,
so we're in this little
great.
hotel with fucking MKBHD,
That's sick.
MattPat,
Yes, incredibly
Smosh.
sick guy. Both of the Smoshes.
well,
Anthony
Smosh, and the
Ian.
guy from the Goldbergs, who I love, Shane.
Who?
He's one of the Smoshers.
Oh, sorry, I'm not. I only know Ian and Anthony.
Molly knows him. She
Oh.
likes Smosh.
Drewski. That was an
Your
interesting
mum,
one.
Ashley, spent a lot of time with her.
Yeah,
Graham Stephen. Mark Rober shows up.
Mark Rober did show up briefly.
Anyway, so now just before it begins, this is about midday now the next day, we go for dinner with MattPat and his lovely wife, Stephanie, whose name I did forget to her face.
You did.
And it was one of the worst moments of my life.
It is Stephanie. I was like double checking.
It was
you were right
Steph,
there.
yeah. No, I remember. Because I went, and Jack, this is MattPat, and this is his wife.
You do like the most obvious I've forgotten your name ever.
It was so bad.
It was like that. I think that was the problem. You could have played it off quite well, and you really didn't.
It was one of the lowest moments of my life. So anyway.
And you'd been spending time with them prior as well. I think that was the problem.
Yeah. Not a lot, though. But
But anyway, you introduced me to them, which
So
is one
we
I
introduced-
thank you for, because I'm a big MattPat fan. So this was.
I know.
this
I
was
could tell because you were getting. I had to, after we left, I said, Jack, you need to speak a bit slower to MattPat. You're getting too intense.
He didn't seem to mind.
But he's also quite intense.
We were very intense together.
So, and you two matched each other's energy, right? Because me and Steph are sat opposite each other, and we're having this lovely chat. She tells me about the opera and how it's really good. I'm telling her about Molly and how long we've been going out and how we met. She's telling me about how her and Matt met. And next to me, every so often, I just hear MattPat, and you're sat silently, and he's sat like this, hunched over, and he's going, the reason the Fazgoo is made from the novels, and I'm not even taking the piss, for like 20 minutes, like straight, you're sat in silence like this, just listening to MattPat intensely explain to you FNAF lore.
I started speaking to MattPat about the FNAF games originally, because I know the games well. And then we started getting into how I think the VR games are some of the best VR games ever made. But then I was like, how are those books, Matt?
And that was all it took.
Because I never read the books before, and then it got deep.
Then 20 minutes later, we've talked about the fucking opera and all this
You
shit.
spoke about 10 topics, and we were still intensely discussing FNAF.
Christ.
And you know what? I felt we were cut short, because when you came over and went, you still talking about FNAF, we stopped, and I wasn't ready yet. And now I've not seen him since. Well, I did. I saw him several other times throughout the trip.
We have dinner with them, and it's very lovely.
And very
And also
intense.
very exciting to be having dinner with fucking MattPat, guys. Come
Yeah,
on.
and I ate some black pasta.
Yep.
You wanted my black pasta, but you couldn't have it.
Yeah. That's one of the lesser interesting.
The pasta was
Isn't it?
black.
So I
That is
guess-
interesting. How do you make pasta black? Turns out it's squid ink. But anyway, it's not even a joke. It's not a Minecraft joke. It's real. That's real. It's squid ink. Anyway, carry on.
So then it's the beginning of the summit, and they get me up there to go do a bit of fucking talking, a bit of zip and zap, because hands up.
Bless you. You had the hardest job
Because
in
what
the
do
world.
they do? So it's this, they go on, they do a bit of bullshit about AI, then they do a bit of actual quite interesting talk about fandom for all of us.
That was very interesting.
And then what happens, Jack?
They bring out. I can't remember his name. He was like a world. Lior. He's a world-renowned mentalist. He's been on like America's Got Talent. He's been with like all the celebrities you can name. He's like apparently the best mentalist in the world. You can just read people's minds, apparently, right? And they bring this guy out, and he does like this incredible act where actually, oh my god, I forgot I wanted to talk about this. This is the crazy thing. He did some incredible stuff, but about 5 of the tricks he did were done by the cruise magician on the cruise.
No.
To a T. He did some of the cruise magicians. The cruise magician obviously copied him, but I'm
Well,
like,
you never know, do you?
this is the thing. I think for me, it started losing some of its wonder where I'm like, well, if the guy on the cruise can do it, it can't be that hard. Because he did to a T 2 of the same tricks. There was one where like he has like these, he pulls out this board and he's like, 5 prizes, pick one of the numbers. It says 1, 2, 3. I think it says 1, 2, 3, 4. And then he pulls it out and it says hug. And then when he turns it around, all the others say kill. And it's like, oh, it's just coincidence that he picked the one that said hug, but obviously, like, he rigs it, so it always says that. The fucking cruise magician did the exact same thing to a guy.
Leo. And then guess what happens?
But anyway, he does like this incredible act, like genuinely does some stuff. I do not know how he did. He predicted some crazy shit. And then they go, now introducing TommyInnit.
And I'm like, really, you're going to make me follow this fucking mentalist? So
They gave like a standing ovation to this
they
guy.
got standing ovations as mentalist, and then they didn't have a YouTube guy come on and do some bullshit. No, with that same energy, come on, TommyInnit. And I stumble onto the stage with poor, bless her heart, Hope Scope as well.
She was great. She was lovely.
She was lovely, but I think, oh, don't do this now. But I give it a bit of zip, zap, and zop, don't I? And I go, I'm a mentalist too. And then I go, I can read everyone's name. But the trick, and these magicians don't tell you the trick, but I will, is that everyone had a name card on them. So I go over and I go, oh, what's your name? And I pick it up and I go, oh, Graham Stephen. And he goes, Stephen. And then
No, it's the other way around. You said Stephen, he said Stephen.
Either all I care about is that the whole room laughed.
They did laugh. The problem was,
And I thought to myself, I'm the best.
that does sound like a really good
Okay,
joke, but
well,
Tom, what he doesn't know,
do-
because he didn't get to see the mentalist, is that the mentalist also did this exact same joke to a T, went up to someone and went, I can guess your name, and read the badge, and you then went out and did the exact same joke. And that's you didn't know, and I remember seeing you do it, and I'm like, oh my God, he has no idea, he's just copying his joke.
That's even funnier.
It was, I thought it was great. I think it was funnier to me because I think everyone else figured you saw the act, but I knew because you told me you weren't going to see it.
Oh God.
So I was like, oh my God.
I just went and did the same.
The exact same bit. Like, that's what he did when he walked out, and you did the exact same thing. So yeah.
Oh, that's even funnier.
That was rough. But
So
yeah,
anyway,
you went
and
out.
then-
And you were funny. You were good. You did well.
Mate, I smashed it.
I didn't realize I didn't need to give you the praise. You seem perfectly confident. I thought I was going to.
Anyway, then to follow this, it's time for the YouTube Summit party before the full day of talks and yip yap yopping and I don't know, bit of bullshit. That's the next day. Now it's time for the party. And what? Go on. What was the plan for the party, Jack? What was our plan?
We knew Mark Rober would be there. And Mark Rober had only a few days prior to this tweeted out at Hinge asking them to unblock his account because he wanted to get on Hinge.
Because he keeps getting banned.
Because he keeps getting banned for impersonating himself.
Like fucking Hypixel.
But like, I don't think he's ever publicly acknowledged prior to that he got divorced. So a lot of people were like, Mark, aren't you married? And he's like, I've not wore a wedding ring for like 3 years in videos. I've been divorced. But I thought, that's kind of a mad first acknowledgement to just be like, at Hinge, unblock me. So we saw this, pissed ourselves laughing because that's a crazy tweet. Then decided that naturally, the only thing we could possibly do as good men would be wingman Mark Rober at the YouTube event party, since he clearly was in the market.
We found him, and then we were like, how you doing, Mark? He's like, oh, I'm good. It's good to see some familiar faces. And we went, all right. But then in the end, we didn't wingman him.
Well, no, because I looked in his eyes. And
What
mean
did you
this
see? What did you
wholeheartedly.
see?
I'd never seen a man look more tired he looked exhausted.
He did.
Like, he looked like he just landed and could not be doing with any of our bullshit. And I was like, because little spoiler for later on the podcast, I went to NASA. And Mark used to work at NASA. And I was going to be like, Mark, I'm going to your old office. But I could see in his eyes, he didn't care. So I didn't tell him anything. I was like, pleasure to meet you. I'm going to leave you alone.
He just wants to get unbanned off Hinge and go to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. So I
God.
thought, you know what, Mark? So we didn't bother.
We didn't.
Instead, we went around. I got to meet Robbie from the Arsenal football channel. He was sick. I rekindled with Carl Jacobs.
We saw a lot of Carl, didn't we?
Saw a lot of
Saw a lot of
Carl.
Carl.
It was lovely seeing Carl. I've not seen him in years. I also had a lot to drink.
You had so much to drink and you did some things, didn't you, pal?
No, that makes it sound really bad. Tom kept going up to people being like, he's really drunk. He's crazy drunk. And I wasn't that drunk.
You were being mental.
I was not that mental. All right. There were other people on my level. There were other
It
people.
was mental.
But and equally, I don't blame myself. I blame the lady behind the bar. She was an enabler.
There's one thing being mental. There's another thing being mental when MKBHD and Ryan Trahan are in earshot.
I don't give a shit. I don't care. They're cool people. I'm cool too, and they're going to love my energy. Right? But anyway, the reason I was so drunk, and this isn't my fault, is I went up to the bar when we got there, and I went, I'll have a white wine, please. Right?
Yeah.
I thought I'd have one white. I'd had a champagne, but this was because they went to give Tom a champagne before he went on, and he went, no, I'm underage. Very firmly to the woman. I went, oh, I'll have it then. And took the champagne they'd poured you.
And so this woman, he kept going to the bar and she kept filling you up more wine.
No, not even that. So I went up to the bar. I ordered a wine at the start of the night. had my wine, and then as I was walking by the bar, I didn't even go back up to it because I didn't want another drink. She just reached over the bar and went, "There you are," and it was another full glass of wine.
And I don't know if you remember doing this. She must have done that a few times. One of the times you had your wine, she did it, and then you scuttled over quickly to me and went, "Tom, I think I'm in love." Like this
bar was incredible. You didn't even have to ask for drinks. They just gave them to you. But yeah, so that was fun. But yeah, it did mean that I got way more drunk because I wasn't even asking for drinks. And I'm not going to say no.
And now I didn't drink. Now, the reason I didn't drink is
because you're underage. You made that very clear.
I'm underage. I enjoy telling people very firmly I'm underage and watching them get really uncomfortable. And secondly, because over the dinner, jokingly, me and MattPat and Stephanie had joked about playing tag the next morning. And this is because we wanted to sign up for the YouTube bike ride and it was full. And so in a rebellious sort of way, we decided at the exact same time, we'll go play tag. So over this party...
you can't scare over the fact that you asked the YouTube staff as you gave your talk, by the way, at the end, can I tag on that me and MattPat are organising tag tomorrow if anyone wants to play? And they said, you can't do that, obviously not.
Yeah, they wouldn't let me follow the mentalist by asking every top YouTuber to play tag with me.
But anyway, you were organising tag with MattPat.
So we're organising tag, and around this party, I go, "Oh, Carl, do you want to play some tag with us tomorrow?" He goes, "Yeah, I'd love to." "What time?" 8 a.m. "Yeah, I'd love to." "Jack, do you want to?" "Yeah, I'd love to." "Ryan Trahan, do you want to?" "Yeah, I'd love to." I say to all these people, next morning, 8 a.m. rolls along, only me, MatPat and Stephanie are in the lobby. Bunch of fakes.
Fighting off a hangover, deadly hangover.
So we go on a little walk and we go up these stairs and we go, "Oh, we've gone the wrong way. We're in a little garden." And MatPat goes, "Yeah, we've gone the wrong way. Tag!" And then he runs away from me. And then him and Stephanie, because they're like, "We've got kids, we'll fucking own you at tag." So I get into this really intense tag game with the two of them where I'm like rolling around in mud and shit. And we're just like properly, because I fell over trying to get Stephanie. And so us three are playing tag for ages. And then MattPat, none of us can find MattPat. And then we look for ages, and then we look over this small ridge, and he's lying like this, like a pencil on this body. And I go, "What are you doing down there, MattPat?" And he goes, "Actually," and he gets into his theory voice, and he goes, "One time I was playing tag with my kid and his mates, and I'd lie down like this for 40 minutes in a park, and none of them could find me." And I was like, "That's cool." And then I tagged him.
I like that you kept saying none of us can find MattPat as if Stephanie was also referring to him as MattPat.
No, she was calling him Matthew or her husband. Or I don't know, they might have cute names like Matty. I don't know. I'm not.
He's not Matty, surely not.
No, he's not. He's fucking MattPat.
MattPat, isn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, so you played.
That was sick, but I was covered in mud, so I had to go quickly shower.
You played tag with the Patricks.
Yeah, I did. And then this was awful what happened next. So we had this lovely day. It was a fine, lovely day. But this fucking guy, oh my days. I've got to talk about this.
Who's this?
My mans. I've never said my mans before, and I tried it there and I didn't like it. So
it did come off like KSI when he tries to speak road. It's quite good. Oh, Eric. Cool. All right, go again.
We've totally got this podcast thing down, don't we?
We've nailed it.
Yeah.
So your man's Dr. Mike.
No.
Oh, sorry, I spoiled it. Shit. Was it Dr. Mike?
Yeah, Dr. Mike. Stupid Dr. Mike, right? Right after he keeps pissing me off this whole event. He's being mental. I don't know what's wrong with him.
Pissing you off because he's lovely.
He's lovely, but he's got fucking some cogs loose up here. He's mental, this Dr. Mike. He needs to go to the doctor, pal. He needs to go doctor.
I really enjoyed his energy.
So
the whole trip.
You didn't even see all of them. You didn't see any of them. So
I did. I was there for one of them.
Okay, so the first one, right after my stand-up gig, I get in the lift. I get in this tight lift with Dr. Mike, Chad, Jarvis Johnson, fucking both of Botez. Alex Botez. I stood there, and Dr. Mike in front of everyone goes, "How your balls doing, Tommy?" In like a silent lift. And also, he didn't sound like that. He's really nasally. He's like, "How your balls doing, Tommy?"
Why is he like a fucking Smiling Friends character?
No, but he's like, he's nasally. He's horrid and nasally.
You're being really mean to him.
He was mean to me. Wait till you hear this story.
He just mentioned your balls.
No. So he does that in front of everyone in this lift.
Which you did on the internet with him. Like, you haven't shown much shame.
He brings it up in a tight lift with all these YouTubers I don't know and are excited to meet. And I go, I think MKBHD was in the lift as well. And I go, "Yeah, no, they're fine. They're fine, Dr. Mike." And he goes, "I'm glad." I can't nail his voice.
Yeah.
I'm glad. And I'm like, all right, Dr. Mike, all right. All right, okay, cool. And he goes, yeah, all right. Let me nail his voice. Yeah, all right. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that.
No.
I'm a Dr. Mike. I'm not good at voices. Anyway, so stupid Dr. Mike does that in this lift, and I'm like, oh my God, come on, Dr. Mike. Then the next day, we're at a YouTube talk, and it's like 30 YouTubers, all of them, like most popular in the world, sat in a big circle, and I'm on all over here, and all the way opposite me is Dr. Mike. And there's Smosh in this circle. There's fucking Cal Freezy. There's like every YouTuber.
Yeah.
And we're like talking about YouTube, and Dr. Mike, the whole room goes, I'm going to say something. We're talking about YouTube Shorts.
Oh, I'm here. I was sat next to you for this.
Because I'm going to say something. It might be a little bit TMI, Tommy. No, you weren't.
I was.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. And he goes, I might be a bit TMI, Tommy. And I go, all right. And he goes, I had a YouTube short called TommyInnit's Testicular Torsion. But then I changed the title to He's in So Much Pain, and it octupled in views.
Oh, no. This was the other. He had 2 shorts shenanigans. This is the other one. You told me about this. I wasn't there for this.
Okay, all right. We'll cut that.
Sorry, I just realized I don't like lying.
Okay, I guess we'll leave it in because of that. Yeah. So anyway, stupid Dr. Mike says that in front of everyone. I go, yeah, it was a bit TMI, Dr. Mike. It was because he just told every YouTuber in this room I've had testicular torsion. And
He
then,
told like 1 million
I don't
people.
care, man. You didn't tell Smosh to his face.
They might have watched the video.
So I'm like so embarrassed, and I give him a little middle finger, and he laughs, and then he goes like this. He goes, check your phone. He points at my phone, and I think, oh, all right. He must be sending me a little, I'm sorry, Tommy, that was a bit much, you know? I go, oh, sorry, my mum's texting me. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, it's all right. Just text back your mum.
No, he goes, check my phone. I go, all right, check my phone. It's just this view count on his shorts. It's just his shorts views. It's 14 million, 11 million more than usual. And he's like a happy puppy. And I'm like, Dr. Mike, you're a bellend. And then later on in the day, I'm sat next to Dr. Mike.
This is the one I was here for.
And I'm sat next to Dr. Mike and MattPat, and they sort of, MattPat wants to talk about YouTube Shorts. What is going on? Your phone's just going off, mate. Mate, you have a go at me for checking my mum's text, and then you're like,
sorry, my doorbell went off.
She got 77% on a master's degree. Hurrah.
All right, well done. Someone's at my door. Maybe with a trinket or treat. They might have a package for me. I
haven't even got to send her a congrats yet because I'm doing this shite. Anyway, the stupid Dr. Mike goes, him and MattPat start talking about YouTube Shorts, and I'm sat in the middle of the two of them, and they say the word short. He goes, no, it shouldn't be short. It should be short, long form. Short. And I'm sat in the middle of them, and the word short stops having any meaning to me. and it's this quite quiet like area. And I
think you're really underselling. Like this is like a big get together of all these YouTubers to talk about like all the different like long form, short form. There's like a big circle going on. The only people speaking are Dr. Mike, MattPat, and like a member of YouTube staff. And now everyone is like really intently listening, including me. And you're like going,
and I was struggling to laugh, like, because I've said the word short too many times. And once I realised it was funny, they didn't stop. And I was probably going, like, people started looking at me like, what the fuck is he, like, what is wrong with him?
He did say short a lot.
And he said short so many times. I never want to hear that stupid word again. Anyway, but then, shortly after...
Yeah. Shortly after what happened?
And then YouTube were like, what if you all go roller skating together? And we went, all right.
Did. That was a weird.
And then they put us all on a big bus and we all went roller skating with everyone. And then it was really hard. But turns out...
Yeah, roller skating is hard.
Inexplicably, though, Ian Heacox from Smosh is like the best roller skater and he's like gliding around eloquently.
They've got like Fiend on it. It's going, Fiend. And Ian from Smosh is like vibing, just rolling by. And then to be fair, Americans in general, apparently...
MattPat's vibing as well.
They all can kind of roller skate because apparently roller rinks are quite popular over there.
And I'm fucking like literally nearly having a panic attack on the rollers and I think, oh, what would be really helpful right now? MattPat glides up to me in his fucking theory voice, starts being like, the trick to roller skating is putting all of the weight on the back of your heels because the back of your heels, and it's just like the most intense thing ever. And then every so often Ian Heacox glides around me doing his white boy dancing, and it's just
he was incredible. He like watching him like skate by was the best moment for me.
But
the
then,
whole trip.
me and Jack have this awesome moment, right? You know how lots of bros when they're younger would be like, oh man, I can imagine like we're gonna like both have sex at the same time in parallel rooms. We're not like that.
What?
Because what?
What on earth?
No. Listen,
What
listen.
sort of segment? What analogy are you making?
And what me and Jack do is sat side by side in a similar way, but more modern, is I'm having a deep chat with MattPat and Jack's having a deep chat with Ian Hecox at the same time as they're next to each other, which I think is better.
It was
than
great, and it was not lovely
parallel
chatting
sex.
to Ian, and I feel like I picked his brains for all sorts of wisdom. And you know, I would just
And me too with MattPat.
and I was asking him about him and just how he's doing, and I felt good.
And MattPat reinvigorated me. He helped me. It was transformative.
It was lovely. It was lovely. And if you would like to see,
like how bros would imagine, like having sex at the same, like parallel.
no, don't bring the sex analogy back into it, please.
It's
what I
true.
did with Ian Hecox was nothing like sex. It was nothing to do with sex.
But his dancing on the roller skating floor had a sexual undertone.
style,
Yeah.
I would say. But yeah. And if you would like to see what TommyInnit looks like roller skating, I do have videos of it, and we'll be trying to get these to the Patreon. So there you go, a little Patreon exclusive, TommyInnit roller skating.
Do you really?
I videoed you a few times as you went round because they were really funny.
Oh, okay.
So there you go. I get people over to the Patreon. We'll put them up.
And that's a YouTube Summit.
That was the YouTube. That was basically it. We went home the next day.
No, we went home to San Diego for TwitchCon.
Oh yeah, sorry. So when I say home, I mean to San Diego, which is
isn't
my second home.
No, it went.
I think San Diego's a great city. I really like it. It's walkable. They have great Mexican food. That's what you need for a second home. I'm trying to save the fact that I made a mistake.
Shut up! I'm talking.
Oh, well done. Well,
Because I was going to tell you to shut up, and I went, oh, hang on.
yeah,
There's a tagline for this.
that was good. We went to San Diego. I had to wake up at fucking 5 a.m.
Oh,
No, 4 a.m. I had to leave at 5 a.m. to get my flight to fucking San Diego.
which it turns out, you'd think, because England to Scotland is 20 minutes. England to Scotland is 20 minutes. England to Wales, 20 minutes. England to Ireland, 20 minutes. It's going to be 20 minutes.
Because it's the same country.
It's a fucking 6-hour flight that I found out about an hour before. I thought it was about 20 minutes.
I mean, that's ridiculous. I was shocked.
What do you mean that's
6 hours was I didn't think it'd be 6. Because, right, so like a full flight from England to New York is about 9 hours. From England to San Diego is about 11 and a half. So I figured, all right, let's take the difference, 2.5 hours. That's what I expected. So when I sat down for my 6-hour flight, I was a bit shocked. But when I text you and went, have a fun 6 hours, and you went, I thought it was 20 minutes, I did think you were a moron. You're going from the east to the west coast. I mean, come on, it's going to take at least a few hours.
I was shocked as fuck. And then, because you'd been there for already best part of a day at this point.
At TwitchCon, yeah. I got there for about a day.
We get there, they're having the MCC party, and I roll up, I dump all my bags in my room, and I'm miserable, and I'm so hungry.
You forced me and Harry to leave the party to come pick you up from the hotel.
Yeah, because I'm stood outside the hotel, and little weaselly Mizkiff rolls on over to me.
Weaselly.
Yeah. He's like, and I'm like, shut up, Mizkiff. And he goes, and I'm dead inside, and he looks at me, and I go, this is what I say to him, I go, you're right? And he goes, what do you mean, am I all right? And he takes it as an insult, because Americans are stupid. And he goes, are you all right? And he's like, what do you mean, am I all right? And he starts getting tense with me, and I'm like, are you all right? And he's like, what do you mean, am I all right? And I was like, how you doing? He's like, oh, well, yeah, I'm fine. Why don't you just say that? And I was like, so hungry. The little stupid Mizkiffs down here looking up at me. I'm getting so annoyed. and then he starts going, you look really dead inside. You look really dead inside. And I'm like, thanks, Mizkiff.
That's the thing to say to someone who looks dead inside.
So I ring up Jack and Harry, and I stand like this, and I like look this way. God bless his soul, Mizkiff, socially inept, just stands there, refuses to leave me alone next to me. And I linger on the phone. I'm like, Harry, I start getting pissed off. I'm like, Harry and Jack, can you hurry the fuck up? Because I just can't bear to stand next to Mizkiff any longer. And I'm like shouting at you, can you hurry up? And then I hang up the phone, and he starts going, yeah, you look dead inside. Again, I'm like, you're a little prick. I'm getting so irritated. And then finally, you and Jack roll up, and I'm like, bye, mate. And I've never seen him again. And I never will see him again, because I'm not going to TwitchCon again.
Oh, is that it
Out
for
of
you?
anger that could happen again.
Just out of the fact you may ever see Miskip again. But yeah, then we dragged an angry Tom just across the road. He could have walked himself. It was like 2 minutes away.
I didn't know where it was. I didn't want to find out.
We dragged him across the road to the MCC party. We rock up, and TommyInnit walks in a Minecraft room, and you do command a bit of a presence, right?
Oh,
People get excited when
stop
TommyInnit
it,
walks into the Minecraft space. So everyone comes over to you, and I can see how
But I'm
little
so
you want
hungry.
to talk to anyone.
So what I do is I go to the bar and I say, can I have a burger? She goes, well, the kitchen's about to close. And I go, I'll have any burger, I'll have any burger and I'll pay double. And she's like, you don't have to pay double, it's fine, we'll get you a burger. I'm like, thank you, I love you. And they're like, okay. And then I stay at this bar and I'm fucking by myself and people come over, say hi to me, quickly realize why I'm by myself because I've shunned everyone away. I must have shunned away the entirety of the Lifesteal SMP. Every one of them must have came over and I'd have gone, piss off.
Hannah
I was
Rose
so angry.
would keep bringing, every time she was with the Lifesteal SMP, she'd be like, she would introduce them as a group. She wouldn't introduce them as like individuals. She'd be like, this is the Lifesteal SMP. And
for my mum, the Lifesteal SMP.
I don't even know what it is. I don't know what it is.
It's a Minecraft server where when you kill someone, you lose a permanent heart and they gain one. That's the Lifesteal.
Oh, okay. That's the life-stealing element.
And it has all these guys on.
They're all lovely.
They're all nice, but they're always like, it's like a pack of bees.
They were always together.
They're always in a big mass, tangled together. And one of them, Prince Zam, the prince.
The prince.
Inexplicably at this party, God bless him.
He just dances.
He just kept breakdancing. It was like the opposite of Miskiff. He just, I'm sorry, I'm still bad. You've already resummoned a load of negative images. I pushed.
He would just
out of
like
my mind.
burst out into dance. It was always quite good.
It was awesome as well. He was breakdancing.
But yeah, that was cool. That was the MCC party. You also shunned off. A woman came up to me at some point during the party, and basically was like, "Oh, I love the podcast, so thank you." And then was like, "My little brother looks a lot like Tommy." I was like, "Oh, really?" And she's like, "Yeah, look." And she shows me a picture of this kid who does, in fairness, look a bit like you. And you're like, she's like, "Oh, would you mention it to him?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course," because I didn't know you were coming at this point. And then you show up. So this same lady comes straight over and is like, "Hey, my little brother looks like you." And you go, "Cool." And you like, and she went, "Can I show you?" And yeah. And then you were so adamant to get food that you then began walking away as she started pulling up her phone. And I had to I was allowing you, because I realized you couldn't be bothered with people, but this time I had to grab you and go, "No, you can't do it."
I didn't mean to.
So, the most obnoxiously rude thing you've ever done to a human.
And I apologized to her for a while after.
You did.
But I properly was like, my vision was honed. I was so hungry.
I've never seen you genuinely. You was like,
and I flag when I'm hungry. You know
you
I
were.
flag.
You were flagging bad.
Christ. So anyway, I get my food.
You eventually did get your food. I actually have a great picture of you.
Me and you sit around a corner eating this burger away from the rest of the party.
I have a great picture of you celebrating having got the burger. I don't know if you remember, you made me take the picture because you were so happy.
I don't even remember. That can go on the fucking Patreon.
Just Tom celebrating getting a burger from fucking
really see the animalistic
joy in his eyes.
Nuts in my eyes, man.
But yeah, your Margaritaville burger.
Christ.
So yeah, that was the first day of TwitchCon.
Yeah. And then TwitchCon in general, a few days. Why don't you explain?
We had a few days. It's a lot of just. I never really got on the con floor because in the past, it's just a case of
hectic.
It's a bit hectic, and I always feel very guilty. I love being recognized. Please, if you see me, say hi. But I don't like when a queue starts forming in the middle of somewhere and I need to be somewhere and I have to eventually say, "All right, you lot have got to fuck off because I need to go." I hate that. So I'd rather just avoid getting stopped altogether.
Mate, yeah, because I went on Tubbo's stream and that kept happening, and he just was like, "You just got to keep walking." I was like,
yeah, I'm like, you feel bad.
Yeah.
And anyway, yeah, I know what you're about to talk about, but in a minute. But this year it wasn't as bad. Either I'm less popular now or it was just less busy, but I'm going to say it was less busy.
It was less busy because I got recognised less and I can't be less popular.
Yeah, so I'd say it was just less busy. So I was good to I get stopped, but it would never really form a crowd. So I was like, "Oh, cool, I'm good to walk around." So I was walking around. And I messaged Fitz because I knew Fitz and Swagger were there. I've met Fitz before, but I never met Swagger. I really wanted to see them. And I'm like, "Where are you boys?" And they're like, "Oh, we're at the Gamer Subs booth." I was like, "Cool, I'm on my way." Because they were doing like a meet and greet, but they were like signing things that people were buying and stuff. And they're like, yeah, come to the booth. So I go into the booth, right? I show up, and it's covered in the typical branding, and you
Tits.
feel a bit
There are
like
loads of tits
lots of tits,
everywhere,
and you feel
yeah.
like a perv. So I went in.
feel like a perv.
I just felt wrong being there. But
It is
also,
quite perverted
I
branding.
really like the flavor of their stuff. I just wish they changed the branding a bit, but I'll discuss that with them another time. Anyway, I show up. We go in, and there's like it's like a desk with like a big like obelisk in the middle, like a big obelisk with a bunch of just anime women on it, and a desk where you can buy all the stuff. But in the middle of the anime women obelisk, there's like a corridor.
Did any women work there?
Yeah.
Okay. Apologies, game.
There's a corridor in the middle, and I go meet Fitz and Swagger, and we're like chatting. It's really cool.
Oh, for my mum who doesn't know what Gamer Subs is.
It's a gamer caffeinated drink.
Yeah.
It's all right. It tastes lovely. Lean is their best flavor. But anyway, also it's called Lean. It's quite funny. But we were chatting, but we're like in this corridor in the middle of the booth, and there's like people coming through trying to work. I'm like, I feel like we're in the way. So eventually I opt that the best thing to do here is not just to leave the booth, is to just go to the desks where they're selling the stuff. And that kept meaning that some people would come up and like be like, hey, can I get like a signature? Can I get a picture? Cool. But occasionally people would be looking at me, and I would figure they were recognizing me. But then I realized, I think they just thought I worked there. So then they'd be like, hey, do you have this flavor? And I go, do we have this? I like start like essentially, I just assumed a role as like salesman and started just like selling to people.
Yeah.
But I was then taking quite a lot of pride in this job. So then when people were recognizing me, I'm like, you gonna buy anything? I could try and sell you something. I know all the products. I mean, hey, if you buy anything, I'll sign it for you. And hey, tell them I sold it you. Give me a good deal. I just kept doing this like salesman bit.
Bloody hell.
It's like people would
Lowest
come
of the
over
low.
like IRL streaming, and I'd be like, they're the target. And I go over, I'm like, what are you buying? I could sell. I became like an NPC. I was just like being like this salesman
Oh my
NPC. It was
God.
great. That was one of my TwitchCon. That was my main. Honestly, I spent most of all the days there. I think I spent a lot of time there.
I'm glad you have.
I found a home base just doing a bit of
purpose,
stuff.
man.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do with myself. So I was like, whenever I'm not doing a meet and greet, I'll just sell.
When you were speaking about breasts there, you were like, what?
Just quite a segue.
You have reminded me of the greatest thing that has ever, like the greatest moment I've ever bared witness to. So at TwitchCon, this was right when Toby whispered into my ears, "You gotta just keep moving on, kid," like as to not hang out with our fans. Basically, it was like right. So we were IRL streaming, right, and his dad was behind the camera holding it, and he was walking around the floor of TwitchCon, broadcasting it, and behind his dad, so we were walking through the artist's alley, and in the artist's alley, there's some quite provocative drawings.
Yep.
And from my point of view, what happened was there was a woman behind the camera, just next to Lee, Tubbo's dad, and it was Tubbo, me, Lee, and there's a woman right behind the camera, an American woman, and Toby pointed at her and said, within earshot, loudly and judgmentally, "Now that is a lot of cleavage." And my face dropped, and so did Lee. Like not in a funny way, in like a mortified way. Like, and I went, "What the fuck?" And you can see it on stream. Like, and Lee goes, properly both of our faces, and I go, "Why did you do that, Toby?" Now, what it turns out Tubbo was pointing out was the anime boobs going, "That's too much cleavage." But he said it so convincingly, like it was actually to a person, that I shat myself and then laughed so hard. He pointed at a girl and just told her she had too much. It was properly.
The clip ended up on YouTube immediately. I saw the thumbnail of just your face, like, and I was like, oh, that's the moment.
I could not believe it. It was one of the most mortifying things.
And he was just saying that the art was too NSFW for his stream.
But he said it within earshot of a woman.
Yeah.
And it was,
you got to be a bit more careful. You got to be a bit more explicit in what you mean.
I know, I could not believe it. I properly shat. I've not shat myself that hard since probably when I was at Halloween and I was 8 and I shat myself.
Was that the last time you shat yourself?
Yeah, a long time ago.
That's a long time ago. I shit myself relatively frequently.
Okay. Speaking of.
No, it's not. I didn't shit myself
at the meet and greet, right? So we have our meet and greet.
Pardon? You shit yourself?
We have our meet and greet. This girl and this dad comes up and they're like,
oh, Oh, they're going to see this.
You're going to see this, you dickhead. And they come over, and this girl's like, oh, yeah, me and my dad love your podcast. My dad didn't think he'd like it. He comes over, and he goes, have you pissed yourself today? And I go, at this point, I'm quite jarred. I go, what? And he goes, you're always pissing yourself, you, ain't you? He was
very American.
He was very American, but I can't do an American accent. You try and do an American.
Well, I don't know. He came because the thing is,
he was lovely.
My experience with him was amazing. He came up to me, and the girl came over individually from her dad. Like he waited back. She came over and she was like, "I love your videos." And my dad, we've started watching the podcast, and he loves it. I was like, "Oh, really?" And then he comes over, he gives me the firmest handshake.
It's crazy.
He had big ass hands that he grips your hand, firm handshake, and he's like, I love your podcast, man. It's incredible. And he's just saying how funny he finds it and that he's like been converted into a big fan. Which also, if he came to the meet and greets, I had a lot of people come up and tell me how much they like the podcast, which was very gratifying. So thank you for coming and telling me that.
Because
we were sat here just thinking, God, is this shit even any good?
God,
and apparently
we just talked about pissing ourselves for a lot of weeks.
I don't know why he said ourselves.
Yeah.
But you know what? Another thing, I don't know if you've noticed this. This is just like me expressing gratitude. I've noticed a lot of like YouTubers have reached out as well and been like, I really like the podcast. And that made me go, oh, wow. You know, I think YouTube, there's such an intrinsic sense for when you do YouTube. You just look at the numbers and you go, oh, is this good? Is this not? And I think the amount of people that have messaged and just been like, I really like this has made me go, fuck, then I'm not even looking at the numbers. I don't care. Just hearing people say it's good has been very gratifying.
Yeah, that's lovely because no YouTubers have messaged me. So I'm glad
they all messaged me.
Yeah. So that's,
who's
messaged you?
Pyro messaged me. I had a few.
Just Pyro.
No, Pyro was the one that he messaged me the other day. There's more. There's
YouTubers. If you're watching this, can you just fucking sign in, please?
Maybe there's like people at TwitchCon like said it to me. I don't. A lot of YouTubers have expressed to me love the podcast.
Max GG's, which is
he really enjoyed the podcast.
He loves it a lot.
I ran into him with Ellie and my dad, and he stopped me and he went, "I loved the first episode of your podcast. It was so funny. I peed." He didn't say that. He did laugh very hard though.
Okay.
So yeah. So thank you to everyone who's enjoying it. You matter to us so much.
Yeah, and if you really want to matter, become a pledger.
Pledging on the Patreon does help. Oh, I've got another story, actually, from the meet and greet. Some girl came up to me at the meet and greet, and some of you Patreons aren't going to like this.
Oh, yeah, you told me. Yeah.
She incredibly firmly said to me, the Patreon is too cheap. You're not charging enough. Other people charge way more. And I was like, oh,
okay, hang on. I know this story sounds fabricated right now.
Genuinely true.
Like, yeah, I remember you telling me this like 20 minutes after. Like, this is the weirdest fucking thing.
She was so hot. I tried to fight for you, Patreon. I was like, I don't know. I don't think it's too bad. Like, we just started. We'll probably like think about the pricing again later.
She's like, no, the Yard do it.
The Yard do it in different tiers, and it starts at $10. You guys start at $7. Like, she was like, it's too low. She wouldn't let me move. I was like trying to move on and like speak to her about other things. She's like, no, seriously, it's too low. So if call it an early Patreon bonus, but it might go up.
If you see it goes up, just know it wasn't our idea.
It was this random girl
mental girl. Apology, that dad, he did also, you've reminded me, tell me how funny both me and you were. The only core moment of it I remembered was a strong handshake, and then this complete stranger asking me if I've pissed myself today, and it was just a lot for me.
I think the thing I love about meet and greets is I think what people forget is that they feel so familiar with us, and this is often the first time we're meeting you.
Yeah.
And there's this real disparity of people are so comfortable, they'll announce things that are crazy to hear from strangers, and I love it. I think it's the best part of meet and greets. The instant comfortability strangers have with you is so fun, but it's so funny. Like, it's so funny.
Oh my god.
So yeah, meet and greet was great for both of us. We actually snuck into your meet and greet, me, Harry, and Tubbo.
I know.
I put my hood up. And I had glasses on, and every time someone recognized me, I go. There's a lot of videos of me in the line is going.
He's doing a little shushing face for people listening.
We actually have way more stories. We haven't even touched on Los Angeles.
Me fucking meeting Lady Gaga.
You met Lady Gaga. I went to NASA, and I haven't even spoken about it. But we're actually running low on time. We've already been an hour, and there's something we wanted to talk about before we close it off.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about those stories on the Patreon.
We'll go to the Patreon and talk about Lady Gaga and NASA and all that.
Yeah,
but we
$10,
now,
by the way.
we now need to.
Oh,
we've got to do it.
It's probably going to be a bit dated by the time this comes.
It's probably going to be a little bit dated, but Lunchly.
But
got
not if
announced,
fucking
like-
KSI keeps going at this rate.
Well, you know, at the rate KSI's going, it'll still be relevant because you'll still be fucking crying over DanTDM's tweet. Still, it's already been like a week, 2 weeks since it announced. And like, what do you think?
For me, Mum,
what do you think of Lunch?
For people that don't know, basically, right? I'm going to explain it. But basically, I think it's wank. I didn't explain it.
I'll explain it.
All right.
This is in America. Most of you probably know there's a brand called Lunchables. It's like lunch for kids in a very easy package. You know, you get a few like fucking turkey stackers and like crackers and like Oreos, you know, whatever, and a drink. And MrBeast, KSI, Logan Paul banded together to make Lunch,
Thank God.
which, thank Christ, is the better version of Lunchables because they use real cheese. That's the big thing they keep stressing. Because, and this is genuinely true, I actually looked into this. Lunchables cheese is that process. They can't actually legally call it cheese. On all of them, they just say like American or cheddar, but they don't put the word cheese. It's just implied. Because if you read the ingredients, it says cheese-like product.
Oh.
So I must admit, I will give MrBeast that. He did use real cheese. But it's like the reason Logan Paul and KSI are involved is because most of them come with a little bottle of Prime and a Feastables. That's like their equivalent of like the Oreos and the Capri Sun, right? And they made this product and it was a little bit controversial because everyone's like, you're just shilling shit to kids. And DanTDM spoke up and was like,
But DanTDM, who has not got involved in anything ever.
no, I don't think he's ever gotten involved in any controversy
Fucking went,
ever.
This is it. This is
my
the
moment.
last straw.
And he was like, what happened to YouTubers, man? Just making shit like with no passion just to shill to kids. And I think if I was to guess on his motivations,
He's got a kid.
he's a dad. Like it's
Yeah.
probably to do with the fact that he like is like, I don't like this shit being marketed to my child.
Now, he did that, and oh my good gosh.
Did this upset the Lunchly crew?
Did this never before have has knowledge, strength, and integrity been rocked?
KSI, all of them were a bit miffed, but KSI specifically has not let this
he
go.
has been punched in the head hundreds of times, but this was the punch. This was the straw
blow to
that
knock
broke
him
the
down.
camel's back.
He has made so many tweets. He's like, went after Dan, he's like, look at all the shit you sold.
You stupid man, you stupid dickhead. He keeps calling Dan a dickhead.
He called him a dickhead.
But what obviously KSI clearly didn't know is, as he's probably never really experienced this, is he's been out-repped,
no one
out-auraed,
ever speak ill of DanTDM.
DanTDM. It's wrong. And he obviously doesn't know. I'd say the only person who could come in now and thrash them would be Stampy. But if we're going in terms of aura.
Sure, Stampy has like I think infinite aura.
Yeah, but DanTDM is up there.
Oh my god,
He is
yeah.
really up
Well,
there.
anyone who like is attached to people's childhoods, they're just going to be like,
Yeah.
don't do that.
I know. And so he's come in and he's like, yeah, I think you lot are being knobheads. And oh my gosh.
KSI hasn't let it go. Logan and KSI made a video. It was
They both
one
made
tweet from
videos.
Dan, and they've all made videos.
Dan has just gone back to playing Minecraft.
He's not even acknowledged it again.
He's done.
But anyway, I spoke to my dad about this. I get Dan's stance. I'm not also that arsed personally. I think, you know what? It does look like it's probably better ingredients. But I also, let's face it, I don't think they sat there and went, kids need a better alternative. They went, let's make a lot of money off of children. And I honestly think if I was to guess, this is all my guesswork. Right. Feastables is now on shelves in Walmart. Prime's like a huge company now. It's like really, really like within the energy, like hydration drink market, really taking off. But I think they've not really done anything where there's been a real, like almost monopoly level, like hold over that sector of the market.
Yeah.
Lunchables are Lunchables. No one else has ever done anything similar. They don't have competition really.
Yeah.
And I think if I was to guess, MrBeast has been like, I want to be involved in Prime because Prime is huge and even Feastables isn't as big as Prime. And I think MrBeast wants a little cut of that pie. And I think he's gone, I want to tell the world of business that we are not to be fucked with. And I want to dethrone one of their biggest. Like, I think he intentionally went for the throat of something that he thinks he can beat. That's my guess. And
Which is fine. But if the way he's got to get there is, look, okay. Shall I tell you what I think?
Go on.
Sorry, do you have more to say?
Well, I think all I was saying was, I think as much as I'm like, maybe like shilling a product to kids isn't great, but also it does seem like it is a healthier version of a thing already being shilled to kids. So it's like, I think it is a lesser evil. And I think the net positive for YouTubers on the whole is it tells the world of business, these guys are the new marketing power, which is good for all of us.
Well,
if I'm being like business brained.
I respect your optimism.
That is my optimistic take on the situation. I do, however, also
now let me
think,
give you my TommyInnit take.
And I feel like I'm going to agree with you a lot. And
I just look. All right. I was thinking about this last night when I couldn't fall asleep.
Oh, wow,
That's how prepped
you
I am.
up.
It's been boiling. No, but I just. Oh well, now I have to collect my thoughts. What did you say again?
I was just saying, as much as it's shilling a product to kids that isn't that great, it's better than the alternative
but I
that
think
currently
like,
exists.
The alternative,
by the looks of things,
is like the healthy option is fucking broccoli, mate. It's not that like this is the healthy like.
I'm not. I don't mean to cite Jimmy here, but he did acknowledge this and was like, "Yes, I would much prefer kids ate better stuff." But a lot of them are eating Lunchables, and I'm giving the ones that are eating Lunchables and need like are having that quick thing. I'm giving them a better alternative.
Oh yeah,
you're not going to get
so
kids straight from Lunchables to broccoli, and I do.
So
he
you
does
can make
a point.
a bajillion. Yeah,
I know
I
that
think-
isn't really. I know his motivation is really just to make a gajillion dollars.
I think the thing is with Logan and with MrBeast, who've been nothing but nice to me, by the way, but generally not very good to all of the poor people. But
No. I mean, that is it.
But no, basically, like it makes sense with that because they sell shit all the time. They have been for years. Like no one has a problem with them doing shit. What KSI doesn't get, and this is what's annoying me, is he is in legendary YouTube status. He literally is up there, and he has been for years. But it's not that he's doing this. It's that the past year he must have put on like 20 things on sale. All to his fans.
Yeah,
and
he's selling a lot of stuff.
Mad how much they sell. And especially after Prime, where he's working with Logan, who, and he has British fans as well, who we're not fucking Americans who celebrate business. We call people wankers. And you got British DanTDM going, you're being a bit of a wanker, pal. And then, like, mate, where's his integrity? His name's literally knowledge, strength, integrity.
Yeah,
he doesn't have the integrity.
Drop the I, become KS.
He doesn't have the strength to go against DanTDM. And fuck, what is this knowledge, man? Be like, what is it? I'm not being funny. But I love him, and I think he's great, and I think he's one of the top YouTubers. But if he keeps putting shit on sale, he's threatening his status as a...
I think the thing is with Logan and Jimmy, I think they've gotten to the point now where they are more business people than they are YouTubers.
Yeah.
I think as much as like MrBeast is obsessed with YouTube, and I think all the business is only to fund the YouTube.
Yeah.
I think Logan at this point is a business person.
Yeah.
Like way more than he is a YouTuber.
Like, but he does, I don't think, because JJS keeps being like fucking like, I don't get why people are upset over a lunch kit. It's not that. It's what it means. And it's the fact that you've done this
you're just
like,
sort of soullessly showing a product
over with like vodka and like all this shit. And, and like, it's not fucking shit that has effort in either.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
I think I think they put a little bit of effort into making sure it holds some value. Like I think they have at least, they've not just made Lunchables with MrBeast's face on it.
So
they've went, we've made it slightly more nutritious. It's not much.
I'm not being
but
funny.
it's a little bit.
If you're a grown up, the solution to solving this problem isn't let's make our own ever so slightly less shit version of a shit thing. That is ridiculous to be like, this'll solve it.
No, I'm aware of that.
What world is that how society gets better?
I understand from a business perspective, because these, again, are business people at this point. They're going, we can take over this portion of the market and we can make it more healthy.
Here we go.
Like that's
the thing. These two have became business people. If KSI wants to be a business person, that's fine. But I don't know why he's surprised that he's getting
flat for it. Yeah.
Because when
you become a business person, you lose status as a YouTuber.
Yeah, you watch their first YouTube videos. Like, where's that soul and essence and life gone? Like, that's not. What,
you trade. That's the trade.
Yeah,
if you want to become a big business person, you trade off.
With you. And if you're fucking trading that's fine. But don't expect.
Like no one thinks billionaires are cool. That's the reason everyone hates Elon Musk, because he's trying to be the cool billionaire.
Yeah,
and it painfully fails because you are just a businessman and no one cares. Like there's no businessman on earth.
There's just no honor in it. Like,
no, exactly. And I think this is the problem. Go do it. I don't mind. But like,
but don't be shocked
when you lose that poll. Like, exactly. Well,
and what's annoying is he's been like, why is everyone calling me a wanker? All I do is go on about how much money I have and sell shit to everyone. I'm like, well, mate, I think I can figure out why.
Yeah, I think it's pretty.
Yeah,
there it is. There's the wrap up on that. It's just, you can do it if you want.
Well, you know what, man? It's going to be quite hard to complain about people asking for money and then go over to the Patreon, isn't it?
Yeah, but we're delivering content over. Shit, we have just done that. Oh, come on, no, we're not selling shit lunch kits.
Yeah, but come on, this isn't.
We're going to talk more TwitchCon stories. We have a story about Lady Gaga in there. I went to NASA. And I can't believe we didn't get to that on the main podcast. But I mean, look.
Yeah,
at the end of the day,
literally
time.
Brush shoulders with Joaquin Phoenix of the Joker. Anyway, look, we're going to move over to our Patreon now.
Oh, before we do, quickly, we've got one more thing to do. The worm. Let's see how he's doing. They're doing
AKA what they put in.
one here,
Sorry.
looking well,
No.
not moving. Another one there. Another one there. There's a lot of them here. Nothing. Not seeing any movement. I feel like Ninja on New Year's Eve. Yeah, no movement.
But you see him though.
Yeah, they're all there, and they all seem well. They don't seem to. If I just give it a little tap, maybe I'll wriggle a bit. Nah, nothing.
Do you know what? And
Well-
if they've all apologised by the time that this comes out, we're going to look like right knobheads.
We'll put a little disclaimer on the podcast or something.
By the way, it's
This is
fine now.
this will cover our backs. This bit here. We'll leave this in.
Phew.
Anyway, that's the worm. We're gonna head over to the Patreon now. Time for the Patreon noise.